Passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been. I got a problem with being
bet. Now, after the picks, off to our next segment. We're gonna start off with our bets, and then we're gonna go to our fantasy picks. So start us off, Paul.
Right now, I'm rocking one of my favorite bets of the week. I got the Packers plus 3.5. Like I said, Rodgers' FU game. Jimmy G's short-handed when it comes to his running backs on who's going to play and who's getting reps when it comes to first-team reps in practice right now. The Packers are back in full form. I mean, I'm pretty sure I think all of y'all like that pick.
Yeah, no, I like the Packers straight up to win. I love them with the points.
Oh, the points are just free money right now.
The points are free money. Like, I'm shocked at the underdogs. But
another one I really like, we have the Colts plus 5.5. Divisional games always are just you fight for every yard. Real ugly, always close games. Titan defense has looked bad, so I think even if Carson Wentz doesn't play, the backup quarterback can come in, do the dink and dunk towards the tight ends, towards the running backs. Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines are great talents, and 2 of the starting linemen are out for the Titans. So I just like this to be a close game. And if you want sprinkle, if you're feeling dangerous, sprinkle a little bit on the money line. It's like plus 2 something on the Colts. That's like 2-1 odds right there. Another game that I really like, I have the Steelers minus 3 towards the Bengals. Mike Tomlin, Big Ben, they own the division when it comes to win-loss. I just like, and they just came off a loss. Devin Bush is coming back, Joe Hayden's coming back, and if TJ Watt comes back, that defense is gonna be in full form. I just like the Steelers to steamroll the Bengals on this one, at least more than 3.
No, for real.
Another game I really like, Seahawks minus 2. At that price, you're basically doing a pick 'em. Dalvin Cook has been banged up towards coming into the week, and that defense has not looked that great, at least on the passing wise. It's been carved up. Russell Wilson is 32-8 off a loss. I just like him to come in, score a lot of points. They might keep up in the first half, but towards the second half, I just like Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, DK, Tyler Lockett. They just start winning, especially at minus 2. And this one y'all might not agree with me on, but Chargers plus 6.5, and I think the line has even moved up to plus 7.5. Chiefs are 1-12 against the spread in their last 13. They're the worst team out of all NFL teams when it comes to against the spread. Honestly, I like the Chargers offense. They shot themselves in the foot when it came to scoring points last week against the against the Cowboys when it came to bad holding calls. But they put up 400 total offensive yards. Their defense ain't the worst. The Chiefs don't have that great of a defense. I just really like this to be a lot closer. Like, they're going to put up their 28, maybe even 30. They beat the Chiefs last year in Week 17, and then they took the Chiefs to overtime whenever they faced them the first time around last year. So plus 6.5, I think that's there's overvaluing it. You have any picks you really liking this week?
So some of the lines are different on different apps. I'm noticing, but
yeah, you can always fish for some better lines.
Yeah. I had some of the lines that I'm seeing. I'm just looking on ESPN. So this is not betting odds necessarily, but I guess this is just the regular odds.
The average odds.
The Cardinals minus 7.5. The Jaguars, like, come on, dude, they're playing the Jaguars. Like, that's all I'm gonna say. I like the Bucks minus 1. I think that the reason that they have the spread so low is because really it's dead even. Like, they really don't know who's the better team right now. I don't know why, but I think the Bucks minus 1. I think that even if it is a close game, they'll win by a field goal. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like all they have to. I like it's basically like calling the Bucks straight up. So I'm taking the Bucks minus 1 as a lock. And then also the Packers. We talked about this. The Packers is a lock. That's just free money.
So you know how I do my locks. When I lock my shit up, I'm putting shots on it. If you're saying you're locking those 2 games, are you putting shots on them?
I'm locking 3 games, cuz.
Oh shit! Let me hear. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were your locks?
That's it. The Packers, the Bucks, and the Cardinals. Also,
all spreads.
all spreads. I'm also gonna go ahead and this isn't I don't want to put a shot on this lock.
Oh, you're just throwing it out there, throwing it in the universe.
Yeah, because I forgot that you mentioned something earlier when we were talking about our regular picks. You're gonna be upset about this, but the Raiders minus 3.5. I like that.
When I took it, it was Dolphins plus 4.5, and I still like it, but
I mean, the thing is, it's just I forgot that Tua was out, so yeah,
we can be split on that one.
I'm also not dick riding Tua. I don't think Tua is like some amazing game changing player, but he is definitely a decent quarterback. So
if I was to give you my locks, so you gave me your 3 locks.
Damn.
We need those. Or you take off one. But whenever my locks, I would have to say is the Packers plus 3.5. You hit the nail on the head. I just like him over Jimmy G. I like him. Sprinkle some money on the money line when it comes on that one. I like the Chargers plus 6.5. Divisional game. They took the Chargers to overtime last year and they beat them last year. It's Chargers 1-12 against the spread, locking that one up. And then Steelers minus 3, same reasons as before. And then Colts plus 5.5, just going against them. There's a lot of divisional games that I'm going with.
You said the Colts are what plus?
Plus 5.5.
Yeah, that's not terrible, but that's also if Carson wins.
That's 4 shots on 4 games. I'm locking them. I'm expecting to see nothing. Last
3
week I
shots
had
on 4.
6. So I think that wraps us up here on the gambling part of everything.
All right, let's talk about some fantasy football right now, because I know a lot of you guys. I mean, gambling is fun and all, but like, let's be honest, a lot of y'all lose money. That's why we're here right now. So
yeah, that's why you're listening to us.
I tell you what, when you're talking about fantasy football, losing money and I just we don't get along. So fantasy football, we get right, and I got a couple players this week that I like. We're a little bit late on this. I talked about this the last 2 times I was on. Brandon Cooks, listen, for next week,
stop sleeping.
After this, stop sleeping on that man. He is literally all they have out there, when I'm telling you. And they are coming from behind every fucking game. And like, he's just gonna get short passes and take them a long way. He gets behind the defensive back. So just look out for Brandon Cooks, please. All right. Also, Michael Pittman. I was high on him at the beginning of the season. He finally showed a little bit of what he's capable of last week. It only took him 2 weeks to get there. So I like him to have a good game.
And no T.Y.
N-O-T-Y. What's
T.Y. Hilton?
Oh yeah, no T.Y. I mean, he's on the injured reserve right now. I think he's out for another like 4 weeks or something like that.
Yeah. So
But he even if they don't have Carson Wentz, I like Michael Pittman to have a decent week this week. Another receiver that I like is Laviska Shenault out in Jacksonville. I mean, they're gonna be. Marvin Jones Jr. is doing what he always does. He's a touchdown machine out there, but Chenault's fast, and he's a good third option, honestly, behind Chark too. But
you trusting the Jags receivers?
I mean, I ain't trusting the running backs. That's for sure. They're gonna be trailing the Cardinals all game. So
that's true. A lot of passing.
Shenault is gonna. I'm not saying he's gonna have a good game, but I like him to. If you need something, like you're in a 12-team league or something, you have a couple players that are injured. You have a lot of people. He's rostered. I know that he is rostered. So if you have him on your roster and you're like, damn, I don't know if I should start him this week. He's projected like, I think 11 or 12 points. I think you should start him. Have a little faith. Also, Cortland Sutton. They're playing the Jets, bro.
I love that.
I don't know.
I have it on my list.
I don't know if I need to say much about that, dude. I'm also gonna pair that up with Teddy Bridgewater because he's having so far like the best season of his career. Even though we're very early in it, he's looked really good so far this season. And Cortland Sutton's a good receiver, like period. He is.
He came in for what, 9 catches, 150 yards
last week.
Yeah,
he had a good week last week, and that's what he's capable of. He's not gonna put that up every week, but like this week is another great week for him to do that. So I like him to have a great week along with Teddy Bridgewater. So those are 2 players that, I mean, Teddy Bridgewater, he's not honestly, he's a free agent in a lot of people's league, but if you have another quarterback who's playing a tough defense or something, you could definitely start Teddy Bridgewater this week. He's definitely gonna drop at least like 25. And then I got 2 running backs right here that I think should have a pretty good week that you should just keep on your radar. They're not, obviously, I'm not gonna tell you guys Derrick Henry. I'm not gonna tell you, I mean, Christian McCaffrey is done. He might be done for this season. Who knows? That man's fragile.
Hopefully he comes back.
I'm not gonna tell you Alvin Kamara. I'm not gonna tell you those guys. I'm telling you about Myles Gaskin.
Okay.
For the Dolphins.
Tell him about.
We talked about him earlier. Baby Eckler. I think that he's a really good receiver. I think that, who are they playing?
Who? The
Dolphins, yeah.
The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Who we're gonna run through. But continue.
I don't know about that. I think that Gaskin, look, they don't have 2 out there. I think that the pressure is gonna get to Brissett, and he's gonna end up looking for his little dump
Safety
off,
net, yeah.
little safety net, and Gaskin could definitely have a good game, even if he doesn't put up hella yardage. If you're in a point PPR league, you know, he gets like 6-7 catches. That's a good little day off of that. He might get himself a little 30, 40, 50 yards off of that. So I like Myles Gaskin, and I also like Mike Davis. They're playing the Giants. Look, it's hard to even fuck with. I'm sorry, buddy, but it's hard to even fuck with the Falcons, bro.
At least he's putting some of them in some respect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the offense is gonna have a good week. I feel like everybody on that team is gonna eat. The Giants are really trash. So I like Mike Davis to have a good 100-yard game and a touchdown. I like it.
No, I like those. If I was to throw anyone on the love list of quarterbacks, I like Daniel Jones going up against the Falcons for the same almost reason, since they have a weak secondary, and he provides a dual threat ability, which you love when it comes to fantasy football. If he can break off a few rushing and maybe even a rushing touchdown, those are easy points. Teddy B against the Jets, like you said, you dueled it up with Cortland Sutton. The Jets suck, all right? Teddy B's efficient. He gets points scored. He might even bring you a couple rushing yards. Same thing. I like the Herbert versus the Chiefs. I just think this is going to be an all-out shootabout. And if you're throwing the ball a lot, I just think Herbert's going to have a great game. If I was throwing the wide receivers, Mike Williams, I was going to pair him with Herbert. I think he's proven to be... I mean, Keenan Allen's definitely the number 1. But Mike Williams as a deep threat, you saw what he did against the Cowboys last week. It was like 7 catches, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Another man, Devontae Smith versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys don't have a strong other Tavon Diggs. I just like Devontae Smith to bounce back against after not really showing up against the 49ers. Jumping over to running backs, start any of the 49ers running backs. Whoever starts, start them. That's the first off. If the Packers' rush defense has looked bad, start whoever is getting the starting spot, whether it's Sermon, whether it's Elijah Mitchell, whether it's one of these practice squads they just picked up. Another one, I like Tony Pollard versus the Eagles. I think Zeke might get bottled up this game a little bit, but I think Pollard's going to catch at least 4 catches. That's 4 points right there if you're in PPR. Get some yards. He's going to score another touchdown, I believe. Just because the Eagles are going to focus on Zeke, which will allow Pollard to have a better game when it comes to fantasy, at least. Mm-hmm. So, do you have anyone that you do not like? That if you're thinking, let me avoid this player, I have him on my team, he's just in a bad matchup, or you can just find someone better elsewhere this week?
So there's a couple players. I'm gonna just look at my team real quick. I have 4 teams, so I have a lot of players. You know, so it's not a small sample size. It's not a small sample size over here. I will say I have this player in 2 of my leagues, and I was high on him at the beginning. Not necessarily that I was high on him. I had high hopes. Not that I thought that he was gonna do good, but I had high hopes. For Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Nice.
The Chiefs have a really good offense. I figured that they'd be gunning teams down at the beginning of games, and then they would just rely on the run game at the end. And not the case. They've been in some nail biters 2 weeks back to back, and I just, if you have another option at running back, that's like a deep, like I have on this team, I have Darrell Henderson as my third best running back.
Especially after that fumble.
The fumble, dude.
Yeah,
also,
now they're gonna try to. Look
I know it's not
elsewhere,
the betting. I know it's not the betting side, but he fucked me out of some money, and I'm also like kind of just pissed about that, to be honest. So it's kind of fuck him. I have him in another league where I have Myles Gaskin, and I'm gonna start Myles Gaskin ahead of him, because I'm low on him.
If I was to
now.
throw out a name that I have on my hate list when it comes to running backs, I just have the Bucs running backs. Fournette,
Yeah, I mean,
Ronald Jones. I just think the Rams' defensive line is going to create some problems, and it's still just too many heads to feed.
yeah. I
over
mean,
there.
honestly, if you're trying to win your fantasy league, you should really not have either of them on your roster. I'm not gonna lie, like, you don't know which one is gonna get the carries each week. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter if one of them gets 25 carries, 100 yards, and a touchdown one week. The next one might do it the next week or 2 weeks later. Like, it's so sporadic, you know. It's not
Hot hand mentality.
it's just they feed whoever they feel on that day is looking and feeling the best. So it's honestly, having either of those running backs every week for me is gonna be. And I love the Bucs. But we're talking strictly fantasy performance. I'm never gonna love either Fournette or Jones.
Well, any wide receivers you don't like? Because if we're talking Bucs, one I do not like is Mike Evans.
I was gonna say Mike Evans as well, because he could guard Chris Godwin too. There's a chance.
I don't know. Jalen Ramsey just has it out for Mike Evans.
Yeah, they do
played
have a
a few
beef.
games. Yeah, I just think he likes just guarding up Mike Evans.
Let's see. I don't really love Deontay Johnson this week. I feel like the other. I know he's had some good games. I feel like the other two out there are gonna get off this week. I feel like
Claypool.
Yeah, I feel like I hate both of them. Honestly, I don't like them.
Juju's gonna dance before the game a little
But
bit.
I think they're both gonna have good games this week. So
avoid Deontay.
I'm not necessarily saying avoid him, but like, just know that they're playing the Bengals, so you might be licking your chops like, oh shit, like he's about to fuck them up. But
Licking your chops.
I don't think it's gonna go that way. Also, remember that Ben Roethlisberger might not play. So if you have Dwayne Haskins, dude, listen. All I'm saying is when Dwayne Haskins played for the Washington football team last year, he had just one receiver out there. He just had Terry McLaurin, and he could barely get the ball to his ass last year, man. So, and that was the only option. So he's got three options in Pittsburgh. So I don't know. I don't like Deontay Johnson this week. I don't love him. I could be wrong, but I don't love him.
I'm gonna stick with that game. I don't like Jamar Chase coming in this game. I just think Joe Hayden comes back. I think they're going to look more towards him, stop the deep threat, especially Minka Fitzpatrick over the top. They're not going to allow Joey B to throw that deep ball, which is the only thing that's kept them in any of these games this year. And if there's any other receiver, I would say hold your horses on. You spoke about him on the last one, was Odell. He's just coming back off an injury. Baker likes his tight ends anyway. If they're playing the Bears and they're winning, they're going to run the ball a lot more. They're going to dump it off to the tight ends, to Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
And I see them working Odell back into the offense slowly after this injury.
Yeah.
I don't see them just throwing him into it, especially if they don't need to, if it's the Bears for starting a rookie quarterback.
I like Odell, so I'm hoping that he has a good game, but he hasn't really. He's only had like a couple of those since he came to Cleveland, so not high on him.
Any quarterbacks you would just say, hey, avoid this guy?
I mean, there's no real reason that he should be your number one quarterback out there, but Matt Stafford, if you were trying to start him this week, playing the Bucs, I just don't. I mean,
there's no biasness in this pick at all.
I don't see why there would be, honestly. I don't love him. this week. I also am I'm not really fucking with Russell Wilson this week like that. I mean, he's gonna have a good game, but I feel like if they're gonna beat him, I feel like it's gonna be not through the air. I mean, obviously he might throw for a little 250 and a touchdown. He might run for one, who knows? But he's not gonna score no 25. He's not gonna drop no 30 ball. That's a fact. I don't like Russ this week. I'm also not the biggest Russell Wilson fan, so
wow,
that's what it is. He's a great guy.
Get it off your chest while you can.
I mean, I like Future, man.
Oh wow, Team
You feel me? Team
You're
Future.
completely unrelated. But I'm not gonna lie. If you're gonna take Stafford off the board, I'm taking Derek Carr off the board against the Dolphins this week. I don't like
No
him at
bias?
all. No bias. No, this is pure analytical football prowess speaking.
I love it.
I just don't think with Byron Jones, this is the best secondary he's ever gonna see. His offensive line is a little choppy, other than his left tackle, who hasn't let up a sack at all this year, or even a pressure. So he's been eating. But outside of him, I just like our chances on defense. Our defense know they're gonna have to step up because Brissett's in the game, and I just don't like Derek Carr to put up his 350 yards and 2-3 touchdowns that he's been doing to everybody else. Another name I'm not really fucking with, Joey B. If you have Joe Burrow like I do in some of my fantasy leagues, avoid him. Look towards Teddy Bridgewater and the Jets. Look towards. I might even take like a Daniel Jones against the Falcons. Just do not. Joey
That's
B.
a hot one.
Yeah, Joey B against the Steelers. If Devin Bush and Joe Hayden's coming back, avoid it. He's only a big play quarterback, and his offensive lines look terrible. I just do not like this matchup at all. And the only other one is Josh Allen, and that's only because I'm so high on Washington coming into this game. I think Josh Allen had. If you watched last week against Miami, that team did not look like a team that was winning 35-0, just because there were so many mistakes on the field that, like, if Miami did anything that was competent of a football team,
Right.
yeah, they wouldn't be winning 35-0. I mean, he threw interceptions. He had 3 passes dropped by defenders where, like, it was right in our hands, dropped them. No big deal, but I've been saying this since earlier this year. He had such a great year last year. This is his regression year. I think there's going to be more mistakes making just because he makes exciting plays. And I think Chase Young gets a strip sack here. I just like this defense against Josh Allen. But I think that closes us up.
That closes us up for fantasy.
Yeah.
We're mostly on the same page for everything there. You might be a guru yourself.
I just take some notes from you. I heard you speak a lot, taking my notes. Now I'm trying to reiterate them.
I like it.
Any picks back there you just not fucking with, or anything that stuck out where you're like, damn, that was a good pick?
I'm not gonna lie, I can't move or it's gonna go out of focus. So, but what's it called? No, I was rocking with what you guys were talking about.
Well, that comes to another great episode.
Simple.
This was Totally Blitz Podcast.
Totally bit. Wow,
Well,
I'm
we're
definitely
totally
blitzed.
blitzed also.
You could tell. Shit, we couldn't even finish this bitch. So it's got like.
Still got life to it.
Got a little something to it. Well, rest in peace.
Well, we'll catch you on the flip side. This was Paul PickemWinem Concha.
This was the guru, Mr. Fox.
And this was
Kev Waterboy Savoy.
Yeah.
And this was the Fantasy Foxhole.
Problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you could call them boy crap. Man, this gang got rules, man, you better watch your passes. This ain't nothing.